Hello, I'm Stephen Carroll. Welcome to People and Profit. This week, the car's the star, coming up in this special programme from the Paris Motor Show. A year after the scandal that rocked the auto industry, Volkswagen is still Europe's best-selling car maker. We'll speak to a senior executive about VW's future. The European car market has firmly bounced back from its dark days, so is the future looking bright for manufacturers? Plus, we'll have the latest innovations from the show, from connected cars to greener engines. First up, though, it's been one of the biggest corporate scandals of the decade. Volkswagen shocked the world when it announced last year it had installed software designed to cheat emissions tests on 11 million of its cars. The scandals cost the company almost 18 billion euros, and it's still facing a litany of lawsuits. But Volkswagen's customers have remained largely loyal. It's still the best-selling car maker in Europe. So how has VW tried to move on from the crisis? We've been speaking to their head of sales and marketing, Jürgen Stackmann.
I would really say that we've really changed the foundations of our company. We had to deal with basically two sets of sort of impulse. One, actually, we had to take care of the diesel issue, which actually was in the forefront of our work, many parts of our work last year, to make sure that we come to a great technical solution and settlement around the globe for dealing with that. At the same time, we really had to look far ahead and see what is the purpose and what actually is the future idea for Volkswagen to get a fresh start, a really strong future position in the marketplace, because we want to stay leaders of this industry in the next generation of cars with the next generation of technologies. So we really had to work hard on the current issues that we had, but at the same time really take bold decisions to change the company in its foundations. And what you see today is actually the first real outcome of that work.
Your chairman said here at the Paris Car Show that it had been a difficult year for Volkswagen. Do you think there's been lasting damage done to the brand from the diesel scandal?
I think actually the sales figures for the year speak for themselves. We have a completely stable sales pattern around the world. Obviously, we have concerned customers which we need to find good solutions for and actually give them great service when they come to see and exchange the software of their cars. We're making very good progress with that. We have technical releases now in Europe for 5.8 or 5.6 million cars, which actually come in sequence now to our service base, and we expect to have all the releases by year end. And we are getting much closer to a good settlement in the US with all stakeholders in the country to make sure that the brand can really have a fresh and good start.
Do you feel that Volkswagen was unfairly treated in the way that the emissions controversy has been handled in different countries, the United States, for example?
Basically, I think it's not for me to take a judgment on that. I think it's our objective now, our duty, to make sure that each of our valued customers and each of the stakeholders which we have, governments, authorities, basically proving authorities, actually come to peace with the way Volkswagen is dealing with the issue, and actually is dealing with sincerity of making changes that actually create trust in the company. And we believe that even with a tough time in America, we will have a fantastic future in America. The brand actually will be back in that region, and we believe that Americans love the second life. They love people who fight back and take the problem sincerely and seriously, but are optimistic about the future.
Volkswagen announcing new electric cars here at the Paris Car Show. Is that a conscious strategy to move away from diesel?
We do see basically that we will have petrol and diesel engines and electric cars alongside for many years in the future. That's clearly a simple fact. The globe doesn't move at the same pace. Many countries and many areas of the globe won't be electrified very soon. There is no infrastructure. They're not just simply ready for this big step. But there's going to be a big shift, specifically in metropolitan zones around the world, where governors and actually mayors would take big decisions and actually making their city, giving it a different profile in terms of noise and in terms of pollution within the cities. And that will be the start of a massive shift into electric mobility in metropolitan zones.
And does there need to be that support and investment for electric cars? Do governments need to step in to encourage people to buy electric?
I think it's people usually take this as a financial call. I don't think actually that's what really is required. We see this in Norway, especially a society who wants to make a shift. It's about all the people of a country actually building the infrastructure together to create a CO2 clean, CO2 neutral country. This is the vision that Norway, for example, as a total country has.
And will people want to pay the extra money for an electric car? Is affordability going to remain an issue in this area?
We do have a transition now that electric cars still are actually more sort of expensive than sort of a traditional petrol and diesel car, because technology is new. The battery actually is put into an existing platform. The aim with this car is actually to offer you this car at a price of a well-equipped Golf diesel, which basically is what Europeans buy from us in big volumes. So the ambition of Volkswagen is to become relevant to all, to really live up the dream of Volkswagen, to bring superior quality, superior design to many people as wanted, with a car that's not an offset and not actually a compromise. It's going to be a lovely car to own, lovely car to spin around.
Technology playing a much more important part now in car making. You've got technology companies coming into your domain as it is with their own car ideas as well. How do you keep up with that? What sort of innovations do you need to make to keep up with those companies?
Basically, both industries are coming from two different angles. We have a software industry, basically sort of an industry that's coming from the software angle, trying to get into cars, because electric cars are, for them, actually in a pretty good access point into the car industry. We're coming from a car manufacturing excellence, trying to build ourselves into a connected car future. We believe that our race is much easier to finish. We do have a very strong competence on building safe, cars actually that people can trust and are trusting.
You're not worried about the likes of Google stepping in your territory?
I think it's a fantastic challenge, which we are happy to accept. Volkswagen is really accepting the challenge. We want to be first, and we want to be leaders in the future as we are leaders today.
Okay, Jürgen Stackmann from Volkswagen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, events like these tend to be overflowing with optimism about new products and future innovations. But many of the car makers here will remember the slump in sales in Europe that came before the recovery of recent years. We've been asking executives for their view of the state of the car market now.
We came from many years of losses, etc. So it was always some kind of worrying case. But since couple of years, that trend has completely changed, and we did in 2016, the first half, the best semester in the history of the brand.
From our perspective, we've got quite a wide sales and indeed quite a wide production footprint globally now. So if one market goes down, we try and balance out with the rest of the world situation, and so far that's tended to work.
And we're growing also in China, and we're growing faster than the market. So we have challenges. We have challenges in Russia. We have some challenges in Brazil from a market point of view. But overall, we're going quite well, and we'll grow year on year.
So that's what the car makers say, but what do the sales figures tell us about the state of the market? Well, Kate Moody's been crunching the numbers back in the studio.
Morale in the auto industry is rising, but do the numbers really back up that optimism? Global car sales have crept upwards over the past decade. Despite slowdowns in some areas, like the European Union, the overall trend has been positive, with an industry group reporting some 66 million passenger vehicles being sold across the world last year. The biggest and fastest growing market in the world is China. Led in part by strong demand for SUVs, passenger car sales soared nearly 30% to 1.7 million units this August compared to a year earlier. With its skyrocketing economic growth, India is another strong emerging market. Europe has rebounded after a period of sluggish sales, with new registrations in European countries up 9.5%. Sales in the US have been fairly flat. We saw a slight drop in August. Russia, meanwhile, has suffered from international sanctions and weak domestic growth, with car sales slumping dramatically. Now, just who makes all of those cars? Well, in 2015, Japan's Toyota held on to its crown as the world's top manufacturer, producing 10.1 million passenger vehicles. Hot on Toyota's heels were Volkswagen and General Motors with just under 10 million, then Renault, Nissan, and Ford. Going forward, the company that makes the most progress on innovations like connectivity and driverless technology could pull ahead of the pack. We've seen more global partnerships like France's Renault and China's Dongfeng. Although worldwide sales are expected to keep ticking upwards, growth in the West will likely soften. Forecasts for the EU and US have already been scaled back for the year ahead. Emerging markets like China and India will be key, both for individual brands and the overall growth of the industry. And with that, I'll send it back to the Paris Motor Show.
One of the reasons that car makers come to shows like this one is to show off their latest technology. Connected cars is an area we're seeing a lot of interest in at the Paris Motor Show this year. This is the idea that you have a car that's connected to the internet, useful not only for things like traffic information, but even now being able to control your car via smartphone. And this is an area that BMW has done a lot of work in. And to talk about it more, I'm joined by Vincent Costet, who's from BMW France. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Explain to us, what can you do from your smartphone to control your car?
Yeah, we have lots of remote services for the smartphones. For instance, unlock or lock the car. You can fly the light, or you can also activate the horn of the car.
So if you're trying to find your car in a car park, you'll be able to do so.
Absolutely.
How far away can you do things like unlock your car?
Well, there is no limit.
Electric cars are a major focus at this year's show. This is the latest offering from Renault. It's their new Zoe, and with it they've extended the range of the car to 400 kilometres on a single charge. That's nearly double its previous model. Now the company's hoping that that will be enough to allay the fears that many people have about electric cars, about charging and the distance that they can travel, and to encourage them to pay that little extra to invest in an electric vehicle.
It's a significant investment for us, but it's a small investment for the customer because the price increase of this new battery is very limited. Depending on the country, it's between 1,500 and 2,500 euro extra for doubling the range. It's really marginal.
That's it for this programme from the Paris Motor Show. If you've any comments or questions about the stories that we've been covering, do get in touch on Facebook at France 24 Business, or you can tweet me at NewsStephen. Until next time, thanks for watching.